I'm here with the Plucked cast with Ruby Barry, Sabrina, Imogen and Marina, who wrote and directed it. And we'll be talking about their recent production called Plucked. So what inspired you to create the play?
Basically, when I arrived here at university, just by living here 2 months, I saw that there was a huge problem about harassment. And one night, I just started hearing someone screaming from my accommodation in the towers, and I live in the 11th floor, so it was quite loud. And I tried to go and help the girl. When I arrived, there was no one there except witnesses who saw everything happening and didn't know what to do. So then I realized people actually were not trained or educated in how to react, and this university was not taking things very seriously, because then I went to read some help from university and I saw how things were not managed in a way I would say was effective. And then when I did my research for the play, that feeling kept increasing with every interview.
So could you tell me a little bit about the play for those that don't know?
Yes, so Plucked is a play based on real events and real experiences. And it's mostly about sexual harassment in campus and how the university is dealing with it, how students see it and perceive it. But it also touches other subjects like sorority and feminism, activism. So it's a really complete view of how women perceive being a woman here at the University of Essex.
So a question for the actors here. What kind of parts do you guys play?
I think it's less about having singular characters, more kind of taking on different voices. So so we start off kind of like playing ourselves, but then we make it very clear that we're not ourselves the rest of the play. We're taking on different characters, and because of the way it's been written kind of using a lot of material from the interviews anonymously. But I think the fact that there's no kind of like named characters makes it feel like it could be any woman, really. Yeah, so I guess
it makes it universal.
Yeah, so I guess for us that's kind of what it's been like, which is it's very ensemble based, not so much about
individuals and
And
individual people.
it was also about playing monologues as characters, but also doing pieces, ensembles, and there was comedic scenes, and it's a unconventional theatre piece, I would say.
Yeah, it's just an amalgamation of experiences, and then we worked on creating some characters. But as Imogen said, it's very universal.
Did you do any kind of preparing for the roles at all?
We sort of played with how we're approaching the different lines and sort of how our different emotions can be portrayed and how we can differ them and show the different experiences that people have experienced. And I think most of all, we sort of worked on sort of embodying how the victim would have felt. So we weren't playing ourselves, we were playing the victim in a sense.
Yeah, and I think like, I know it might be a bit odd to say, but there was quite a lot of like playing around as well, like seeing, like maybe this rehearsal, this didn't work, let's just like try and like toss out our preconceived ideas about how it should be working, just play around with it. And obviously like if that didn't work, then what? Like Marina, I remember those exercises you made us do for one of the scenes where we're just walking around, you're trying to make people listen to us, but like obviously we're not allowed to.
As a director, I've always approached my work and my actors' work as playing, because theatre, in the end, theatre is that, just trying things and see if it works. You always can go further and then cut it. But if it's not there, if they are not having fun and really going into it with passion and emotion, then I don't have material to work with. So even for the most dramatic scenes, I didn't want them to torture themselves and try to go to the victim place. I always try to make them reach the emotion from the body, from the play, from even with rage and sadness.
What was the process of putting all this together? Because I've heard you based this off actual stories and you collected them, and that was how you wrote it. What was like just the general process? Like, how did you approach these people, and how did you then pick which ones to use?
Yeah, that was the most difficult part, apart from the writing, because in the beginning we opened a call for everyone who wanted to reach us could share their writings or art experiences. But even though people got involved by coming to me saying the project was amazing, they would send something to me, then nothing happened. No one actually sent me anything. So in the end, I just understood that people were really busy. So I told people to inscribe themselves into, how do you say that, like a sheet of paper with their contacts, and it was me reaching to them. So I based all the interviews in my room, made it super relaxed for them, because some of the stories were just heartbreaking. So I established like a comfort zone, how do you say that?
Yeah,
a safe zone.
Area,
Then from those experiences, which I have to say, I had so many stories.
How many hours of recordings do you have?
26.
Wow.
So I have more than 26 hours of recordings, which is a lot. I basically grabbed the most impacting ones and tried to chuck every little event on ensemble, how do you say that? Ensemble scenes.
Yeah.
And then the most impacting ones were the monologues. Yeah. And that's how it worked.
So how many people did you get overall to reach out to you?
A lot of people reached out to me, but the ones I could interview were 26. And after the play was premiered, a lot of people just came to me, with a lot of stories, which will be featured in the next Plucked representation on the Lakeside Theatre.
So I heard that's next year, is it?
Yes, it's in October during Freshers Week.
So it's going to be an entirely different thing based off all these news stories.
Not entirely different, because I acknowledge that a lot of people who will see this will be freshers, and I want them to experience what Plucked initially was. But yeah, I'll do some changes for the people who already seen Plucked, can see the actual repercussion of it in the audience that already seen it.
Yeah, and what's changed since we first performed Plucked,
Yes.
and what still hasn't been done, even though we sort of suggested it in our initial performances, that sort of thing.
So what did you hope to achieve with this?
Well, at the end, Sab has a section which literally lists a number of solutions which the uni...
Do I still remember it? Should I perform it?
But it's just like solutions offering to the uni that maybe haven't been thought about before, that maybe a lot of people have fed back that they would have liked to experience. So like a walk me home service.
More safety buses.
Different precautions they could take.
If someone gets accused of something and they're found out, they get excluded from the university, or I'm trying to remember the list.
So people get expelled.
Rather than saying it. Stuff like mandatory bystander training, self-defense training.
Real action.
Real action.
Not so much prevention, because I acknowledge it's a very sensitive thing, but university says they have a zero tolerance with attacks and aggressors. And from my interviews, I saw that this is not necessarily true at all. And this is very dangerous, because it's a very important topic and we don't see that it's addressed correctly. They don't see, maybe they don't see persons, they see numbers. And even if it's like 2 people got harassed, which is not true, I must say, their numbers are astonishing. Even if they were 2, they could be like your sister and your best friend. They are real people. We have to address this.
Yeah. And I think more about the university sticking to their word, rather than sort of saying, we're going to put these sort of things in place and then not stick to it, because then people sort of have the idea that they're safe, but then as soon as something bad happens, they're sort of like, no, nothing was put in place to prevent it or safeguard me. Or
the thing is, the Sabrina's monologue at the end with the list was such a logical, rational list of things, and I think it shocked a lot of people that it's just not there. And I'm really hoping that something will happen. There's just a lot of distrust with the university and their policies and things like that.
and maybe not only with these universities. So we are hoping to, in the future, to read to other universities, and that these things that, as Ruby said, are very rational.
Yeah, logical.
Logical, thank you. Very logical, can be implemented in not only University of Essex, but every university, because it's really important.
Yeah, it's kind of appalling because, as you know, University of Warwick was, very big in the news because of that rape chat thing. My friend goes to University of Warwick. She came down here to, have a few nights out. And she was so surprised by the fact that we had like a safety bus service, which, we like to complain about all the time, but like it doesn't exist in her school. And I've been to visit her school, and it's a lot creepier than our school is, because it's, it's way more spread out. It's not as well lit for sure. It's not as condensed, and we've already taken steps to help prevent these things, but we can still do so much more.
Do you know if the university has changed anything as a result of the play, or?
Well, I just know one change, but it doesn't involve necessarily. It's not about sexual aggressions. I don't know if it's an official thing, so I'm just throwing it out. I really don't know. But I heard they want to implement, maybe it's an idea. I would be super proud if it's a thing. The SU wanted to throw out a bursary for a student play every year that was like Plucked, that had a really clear and necessary message, because the SU helped us economically. It was too much for funding it ourselves. A massive thank you from here to the SU. They were amazing. And I heard that was an idea. I'm sorry if it's not true. I'm saying it now, but it really arrived to my heart, because I think there are so many students that have a lot to say. So if it's in your head, as you, please make it real, because there's amazing artists with amazing messages, and we can all grow together, and this campus can actually grow a lot.
But in regard to actual sexual aggressions and harassment, we've not heard a single thing.
But the thing is, straight after our performance, I remember like a lot of university staff or whatever coming up and being like, yeah, this is going to be, we're going to do something, and then it's just...
But to be honest, gone under the radar again, like the It Ends Now thing sort of happened one time on the square, where everyone sort of gathered like, wow, there's going to be actual change, and then after that, no one heard a single thing more about the It Ends Now campaign, and it's almost like
a lot of stuff, and they are really frustrated because they are trying to make differences, but the person who is in charge, the people who can make change happen, are not doing it. So even people in the staff who want to make changes just find that they are not capable of it.
Yeah, like the women's officer like struggles to get stuff across just because the people in higher places are not listening.
Yeah, and limiting what she can actually do.
Yeah, we want to invite the Chancellor next year, the Vice Chancellor, if he wants to come.
Come along.
Chancellor,
Yeah.
So the production next year, is that set in stone now? Do you have a date? Are you guys returning for it, or is it going to be a new cast?
No.
You're going to replace everyone!
Oh my God!
No, we're hoping to stay with the same cast, and it's on the... correct me if I'm wrong, Wednesday and Thursday of Freshers Week, or Thursday and Friday?
3rd and 4th of October.
3rd and 4th of October.
But if you follow us on social media in... oh my God.
Oh yeah, we do have socials. Here we go.
We have plenty. Plucked Essex on Instagram, and Essex Plucked Project Essex on Facebook.
The Plucked social media stuff is great because it talks about the show, but also you share like little bits about famous historical female figures and different theatre shows and art pieces that celebrate that every week, and so it's a really good thing to follow.
It's a holistic project, guys.
Yes. So every week I focus on a different topic. One week is sorority, another week is feminism, and I talk about books, films, historic figures. So it's really interesting if you want to join.
So we're going to wrap this up now. Thank you so much for the cast of Plucked and the writer and the director. Do follow those social media profiles and see what content they've got available. This is a really important topic, especially for recent times. And thank you so much for joining me, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.